It's showtime and we are live. Yay. Carol, this is an amazing, incredible day for you. I'm just so happy to celebrate this day with you. So introduce yourself and then we're going to talk about your book. And you got to hold it up and let the world see.
This is my book. Whoa, comes up. This is, I wrote, Do the Necessary, Let the Rest Go to Hell. I'm Carol Koppelman. I, many years in corporate America as a communications person, and now semi-retired.
Well, it's fun that you can be in this position. And I think back to when we first met and we were in an event together with Joe Dibley, and how fun that was. And I remember you then, I remember you now, and it's just remarkable the journey that you've been on and to see the differences between now and then. And remembering back when we were first having the conversations about this book, and we sat around your Natalie McQueen and you and I sat around your table, and we really discussed all the what you're going to do with this book and how to outline it, what you wanted to bring to the table. What was interesting about this is I think it's probably evolved far more over those initial conversations, and so proud of you to see this book come to the world now. So what prompted you to write a book in the first place?
Well, just many years of life and realizing that my experiences are probably just as valid as anyone else's. And I've done a lot of things. I usually did not have a plan at all. So as the book will show, I did a lot of interesting things. And things sort of just happen sometimes. So I wanted to do this in part because of some of the struggles that I went through that I learned from, and it might help somebody else, especially other women, especially maybe women going through transition, etc. And so I felt in my heart I wanted to share at least my experience and my perspective on life, and maybe that would help somebody else manage their way through it, or know at least that they're not alone in this, and there's always someone there for them. And I intertwine a lot of my faith in God in there, and to talk about that relationship I have with God and how I came to it. He's always there.
Yes.
We never find him. He's always around.
Yes. And sometimes we forget that.
Yeah. So I want people to know that they really are never alone. I think it came in. And there have been times when I'm sure everybody's felt alone. I certainly have gone through periods like that, no matter what my circumstances were with people around or relationships. And I don't want anybody to feel that way.
So the title of your book, Do the Necessary, Let the Rest Go to Hell. How did you come up with that title, and what's the basis for it?
Well, we took a class together with Marshingle, and I was talking to her because I had this other idea for a title, and then
if anybody's hearing the background noise, Carol's got a new roof being put on her house today. So this is life, and my dogs might just start barking too. So.
It's like somebody will come through the roof, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
So she and I were talking, and I had a different idea for the book. And then I was talking to her about, my mother has always said to me during times of strife, just do the necessary, which is, I believe, it's from St. Francis of Assisi. And just do what you need to do, just kind of little by little, you can get to the big things, but you do little things. And I was looking for a subtitle. I'll be honest with you, I was looking for a subtitle, and I asked my husband, this is my title, I need a subtitle. So he came up with a subtitle. It really works.
It does work, and the fun part about it is that it's eye-catching. It catches your attention because when you think about let the rest go to hell, well, how often and how much time do we spend stressing on things that are just totally not necessary to stress on, you know? And you talk about, create a diversion, go clean the closet, go mop the floor, go wash dishes, do something to break the pattern of what maybe in the mindset that you're in at that time. You had some interesting stories in your book. You talked about going to India. Tell us about that transition, what that did for you.
Well, my dad had a contract out. He was working out there for international crops research in India, Hyderabad, India. And so I went to visit. This is many, many years. It was like 30 something years ago. And I went out there for about a month. And my experience with that is I came back after the experience and I left my job. I got into my Malibu car and I drove out to California and went back and finished my journalism degree at 32. So it was so inspiring there to
it must have been quite an adventure.
Oh yeah, it was a wonderful adventure. I love. There's so many stories that I didn't include in the book about that, but it's just I miss India. It's been many, many years, obviously, but there's just something special about India. And
I know everybody that I've spoken to that have gone there have just said it's life-changing. It's so incredibly life-changing.
It is, yeah.
And then you talked about actually meeting Mother Teresa. You didn't meet her in India, though.
No, yeah, I was hoping to because we went through Calcutta, but she was very available to people. She was out with the people and everything, but we didn't. So many, many years later, I was living in Maryland, and there was a Mother Teresa infant home in Friendship Heights, Maryland, which was near DC area. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it was basically a way station for babies being adopted out. So, and sometimes it was an orphanage as well. I mean, it was kind of in between. And so I volunteered there, and our job was to hold babies. And yeah, that was fun. So one day the nuns there said, Mother Teresa's coming to town, and you guys want to go? And yeah.
Absolutely.
I brought my friend Sandy with me, friend I've had for who gave me actually this necklace.
It's gorgeous.
For like 30 years, and she and I went down there, and we didn't know. We got into it was at a brick building. It was a AIDS homeless shelter in the middle of DC, and they were having church in the chapel there, and we thought, well, at least we're near her. But they actually they got us in line, and we each got to meet her one by one, and it's incredible. It's like touching the hand of God in a way. But I knew it wasn't. But it was. She was so holy, so had given herself completely to Him to serve. She was that servant's heart.
She's a remarkable lady. Yes.
Yeah. So that I sometimes I still have a medallion she gave each one of us, and I try to recreate that time sometimes, but it's still a wonderful memory. I'm very fortunate to meet
beautiful
her.
Memory, and what a unique experience that was. So your book was, for me, it was, I think that for most of your readers, it will be very relatable because there's quite a journey in life. From the divorce you went through to finding love again to all of everything in between, and the even discovering ourselves after we've gone through difficult times. Yeah. And kind of regrouping and really understanding our own emotions and really understanding the spirituality behind it and our relationship with God. All these things just kind of, our life lessons teach us a lot. And one of the things that's so striking about your book is your ability to weave storytelling into it, because that art of storytelling is what what truly makes it interesting, because we don't want that art of storytelling to be lost. And it's been with us since the beginning of time, storytelling. And yet sometimes I look around, and before COVID hit, if you go out to dinner and you see entire families sitting around the table looking, on their devices and they're not talking. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we need to be able to share our stories and pass them from generation to generation, because those are the things that stick for the longest time. Those are the things that shape the generations to come. It even shapes our lives. And your story really made a big difference in my life, because it was, the way you wrote it was very relatable, and it made it realize, none of us are alone. None of us are alone in this world. That we do have a lot of commonalities, way more than perhaps we ever realized how much we had.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited. This has been quite a journey. We've been working for over a year, really, I think, to bring this book to the world. And so proud of you that you stuck with it. It's been, a lot of back and forth with, maybe we should change this up a little bit, back and forth, discovering even what do we want for the book cover, and what's the title of this book. And I think you hit it spot on. You just did such an amazing job. So very proud of you. For those that are listening, Carol does have a Facebook page of her own. Do you make it a page or a group? It's probably a group. Yeah.
I have my own Facebook page, but
Okay.
I have Do the Necessary, Let the Rest Go to Hell page too. But do you want my Facebook page?
Is that Carol Koppelman, or is it Carol Fashio Koppelman?
Carol Koppelman. Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to follow her on her Facebook page, pick up a copy of her book. For the print copy during this lunchtime is $10. When you do that, you can also pick up the Kindle version for free, which is pretty exciting. And just read and if you want to reach out to Carol and have the conversations around the stories in her book, that's going to be so beautiful and such an encouragement also to Carol, to know that her book is making an impact. What we're asking is, if you do read the book, go back to Amazon, go back to wherever you picked up the book and leave a review. It could be on Goodreads, it could be on, Barnes and Noble, wherever you're finding this copy of this book, be sure and leave a review, because that's kind of what gives the secret sauce to, not so secret sauce actually, but it's part of what it is that people look for when we buy something. We like to know what other people are saying, and that's what really is the intriguing part. So leave a review for her too. Carol, what else can you share before we conclude this call about your book and what you hope they gain from it?
Well, first of all, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience with you. It's been, you make it wonderful. And so I really appreciate that. And then secondly, I just hope that people know that they're not alone, that they can rely on their faith. I think that's the first thing, and know their own self-worth. I think that's a big thing, especially for women.
Yes.
Just know that you are loved. You are okay just as you are, and you are loved.
That's the most important, beautiful message and it's woven completely through your book, and your own journey to even remembering that too, even in the hard times. Yeah. Well, my hat's off to you, and I know you have a great support team behind you. You've got a lot of people rooting for you on this book launch, and I actually had one of our mutual friends reach out to me on Sunday and said, "Wow, the book!" and our friend Darcy.
Oh, Darcy! That's how we met. Actually, that's how we met, through Darcy, and she is one of those. She is one of those light beings, Darcy.
Yes, amazing.
Just we met through her, and just yes.
I think we were even making the vision boards at her home.
Yes, yes. There was yeah.
That's how we met. I think there was probably a couple other occasions she was couple of clothing shows that she did, and you came to those too. But we did the vision boards, and those were so fun. I think it was right around Christmas time, a couple of years ago. Yeah,
and we did a craft thing too together.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, we made those Christmas angels.
That's right. I still have mine.
I do too. Aw, awesome. So congratulations on your book release, and let's keep the word out there and use this book as you have a lot to share with the world. And thank you for shining your light so brilliantly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.